Not everybody is as crazy about dinosaurs as Gigi is, but I love them, and I love learning about them, and I hope that you will too. And I want you to stay tuned because what we have coming today and for the next few weeks is so very exciting. We have actual footage of people finding dinosaur bones in layers of rocks. We have actual footage of Dr. Carl Baugh teaching about the dinosaurs. We have pictures of little tiny people standing next to great big dinosaur bones. And we have interviews with people who have found these dinosaur bones on their own property. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss a bit of this.
Hey, welcome to Gigi's Place. Thanks for coming. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, dinosaurs. Oh my goodness! Well, you better stay tuned because we're going to have a great show today.
Today on In Grace, we're going to dig dinosaurs.
On today's episode of Dinosaurs That Destroy Evolution.
This is what I've been waiting for. Now the team is complete.
What have you gotten me into, Dr. Baugh?
I've gotten you into a dinosaur dig with bones as big as we are. This devastates evolution.
Here we can see the sedimentary layers where these fossils are found.
We see evidence of the sedimentary layering. There has to be a global explanation for this.
Well, we made it to Colorado. We're on another adventure. We're going to try to find some dinosaur bones. And the trip started off pretty interesting. I went to bed early last night because we had an early flight here to Grand Junction. And I got a call from Dr. Baugh. And he said, there's a forest fire right here. Lightning hit twice. He said, our crew put out the first fire, but the second fire we couldn't put out. And so I'm not sure what we're going to find, but this is going to be fun. Whatever we find, let's go have an adventure today. Where we're gonna go dig, there's not a lot of amenities. It's kind of a ranch, and we had to rent an RV. But, you know, these roads are a little tricky. These are mountain roads, but it's beautiful, amazing country. That's why not everyone gets to go on these dinosaur digs because it's kind of hard to get there. But we're gonna get there for you, and I'm gonna learn a lot. I have a lot of questions for Dr. Baugh, which evolutionists can't explain, uniformitarianism can't explain, but the flood can explain that you're gonna find different dinosaurs in different places. Generally, they're all in the same levels, layers, because of the way they sorted, because of the size of the dinosaur. But you're also going to expect to find plenty of things out of position if the flood timeline is accurate, which we believe it is. But just love driving through the mountains. Well, we're driving from Grand Junction, and we're going to get down to the dinosaur dig site in about an hour. Up in the sky, the clouds are getting kind of dark, and I hear thunder. And when it's so dry out here in the mountains, you got to be really careful with that lightning. Really neat, though, driving through the mountains. We're just about 0.3 miles from Macedonia. Macedonia, Colorado has one building, and that's the Macedonia Tavern and Steakhouse. Dr. Baugh said, Jim, I'm gonna meet you, not at the tavern, but at the steakhouse. And I think there he is. Here's the one building in Macedonia.
This is what I've been waiting for. Now the team is complete. Now I want you to notice we're on the cafe side. The other side is the tavern side. We park over here.
Hey, we're not going to go over on the tavern side.
Oh, no.
And this is quite a thriving establishment you had us meet you at.
Well, this is the whole town.
This is the town, right here.
One cafe.
What have you gotten me into, Dr. Baugh?
I've gotten you into a dinosaur den with bones as big as we are. This devastates evolution, whether they admit it.
I tell you what, you brought me a long way to come to here, and I don't want to just stand here and talk about it. I want to see it.
All right.
So let's go.
We were really ready to start digging for dinosaurs, but because of the fire activity, we had to wait, so we decided to drive 60 miles west to Utah to see a stronghold of evolution, the Dinosaur National Monument. We're at the Dinosaur National Monument.
An intriguing place.
And amazing discoveries here. Not that there's more dinosaurs right at this very spot than anywhere else, because your site probably has as many dinosaur fossils per square meter than here, but here it's on display.
It's on display.
As they found it, and it's just fascinating.
It's world class.
It really is, and folks need to come here and see this. But also here we can see the sedimentary layers, the formations of the rocks where these fossils are found.
Well, we see evidence of the sedimentary layering, and when you examine sedimentary layering, it has to occur very fast. There's no way for it to harden in these vast sheets over extent. Some of these are continental, and some are intercontinental, some are global. There's no way for that to occur on a limited basis. There has to be a global explanation for this. So we have 2 or 3 events in evidence here. We have first the sedimentary deposits, secondly, tremendous upheaval. And that shows upheaval that could only be explained by thermonuclear reaction. So we have in the foreground and also in the background here, not only the rocks, but we have moderating elements, huge piles of moderating elements that are about as extensive as the rock layering itself. Now these moderating chalky piles, or continental themselves, are very important. Moderating elements inside the Earth keep nuclear reaction from occurring spontaneously. So all of this points to a design, not only the design of the minuscule creatures, but design of the entire Earth, globe, and environment in which they lived.
Inside an exhibit hall, just beyond this area, we saw some bones that were twisted or even bent, but not broken. So this is the Corey exhibit hall, and this is a very beautiful building, very expensive to build something like this.
It's one of a kind in the world.
Right, and they literally left these fossils, these bones, where they found them.
Correct.
Preserved them, probably similar to the way you did.
Yes.
You can just see there's just bones everywhere, and these are all different kinds of dinosaurs.
They all jammed together. And they explain that it was a river, and it was a river bank, and so they all jammed together in time. That's not quite the way it works, but that's their story.
So even in this hodgepodge of bones, a graveyard, you still see purpose, design, and order.
Certainly you do, but you have to be able to recognize it. If you're blinded, you don't see it at all. But notice there had to be some motion, like a slurry throwing these together.
Yeah.
Some of these bones twisted. So they had to be pliable. They had to be like in a soup, hot, slurry soup. There has to be an explanation for that, but it has to be early in their demise, almost immediately. You can't let them lithify for a period of time or fossilize for a period of time. We saw on the wall deposits of volcanic ash with tiny little pebbles, all ejecta from volcanic operation. And you take the additional conditions of the extremely hot water And with any movement of the water, like Mount St. Helens, it uproots everything in its path. And you take a living system like dinosaurs caught in it, extremely hot. They're just boiling in a slurry soup.
So those bones would soften, the meat would be dissolved. So you'd have what's left is kind of like you'd call it chicken soup, but with dinosaur bones that are just intermixed. Some are bent, some are twisted.
Yes.
Some are still intact, but
Correct.
most of them are just in this hodgepodge pile. And that's what you're finding on your site.
There are vast piles of dinosaur bones being discovered across the globe. I was wondering how these bones were identified here at the Corey Exhibit Hall at the Dinosaur National Monument.
Is there any way to know what those dinosaurs are?
Yes. Some of these paleontologists are experts. For instance, a little groove in that femur, a tiny groove there would indicate that's an Apatosaurus. Without that tiny groove, it would be a Camarasaurus.
Now let me stop you for a second. We're talking about really intricate little details in a bone. Could that have possibly just come about by a random accident and chance? These were designed, these bones that are just kind of helter-skelter here were formed perfectly for certain functions, for certain attachment points of ligaments, tendons.
And each serves a purpose. To me, this is incredibly intriguing.
It is. This is fascinating.
This is called the death pose. Most dinosaurs that are articulated, articulation means the bones are in their approximate right place, and these show the neck and the head pulled back. And it is assumed that that's from suffocation, even among creationists. Evolutionists have a difficult time explaining that because it's so drastic, these huge, powerful animals. But electrocution does that. If I were to take the stun gun in my pocket and hold it here, in a short time, your hand would curve up. Psalm 77 describes that during the flood, there was electromagnetic discharge that went out so that lightning went out into the heavens. So the death pose, in my opinion, is primarily the result of being electrocuted.
Have we told you that the dinosaurs are coming? Well, they're coming. Oh my goodness. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Gigi's Place. Bye. Ah!